46. That's how many Melusines are currently in the game. Do you know every single one of them? Probably not. So today I will be going through every single one of them and give you a short explanation of who they are and maybe tell you some other things I found interesting. By the way, I'm probably going to butcher most of their names because some of them are really weird. Starting off with Aeife. She's the one guarding the entrance to the Opera Epiclese. If you talk to her, she'll give you a pretty good introduction to Neuvillette and Furina. Aeval. She operates the Clementine Aquabus line. She's very sweet, optimistic, and I think she's a great tour guide, even though she forgets some of her lines.
This kind of core... let me remember what the tour guidebook said. These cores can utilize the power produced by the mutual annihilation of Usia and Numa energies. Yep.
Ahes. She's the one that takes you on a quest to find a shipwreck. She's very passionate about this ship and its captain. She actually wants to become a captain herself with her own crew and ship. Blathine. All you need to know about her is that she likes magic, and she likes fountains, because they are like magic. Canotila. She's the Melusine whose quest takes you here. She seems to be the most intelligent Melusine we've met so far. The reason she's so smart is because she reads every book she can get her cute little hands on. Basically, she's a nerd. Carabosse. She's a potion maker in Meruza village. She's a bit arrogant, she takes herself very seriously, and she's very professional. You can tell by the way she names her potions. Pick me up potion, super duper potion, ghosty toasty potion. Carole. Most of you probably know her already from Neuvillette's story quest. She used to be very close to Neuvillette and was trying her best to make humans and Melusines coexist peacefully. Her dream became reality. Unfortunately, she's not around to see it. Chourei. If you talk to her, she'll tell you a story about two sailors fighting. Cosanzeana. She's a florist. Well, at least she's trying to be one. She loves flowers and she's trying to make her own little flower garden.
Cosanzeana will definitely take good care of these exotic flowers.
Elphane.
Look at this distinguished gentleman.
She operates the Nadia Aquabus line. Just like Aeval, she's a tour guide. But unlike her, Elphane sounds so tired and done with life. I love her low energy personality.
Looking left from your current position, you have possibly the very best view of the Opera Epiclese in all of Fontaine. Such beauty and magnificence.
Oh, and she has a funny reaction when you compliment her. Enghiene. She's an event-exclusive Melusine, so unfortunately you can't find her in the open world. All we know about her is that she's a police officer and she likes playing with fungi, especially Bongo Head. Everallin. She's patrolling the Romertime harbor. She loves stories and her job, because she's able to hear a lot of different kinds of stories from people visiting Fontaine. Flo. She's good at sewing and wants to make some clothes to repay us for saving her sister, Virda. Honestly, I find her adorable. She sounds so excited when she talks about sewing. She's like a grandma who loves making clothes for her grandchildren. Glaisti. She loves animals and she would like to have one as a pet. What kind of pet does she want, you might be asking? A dog? A cat? Maybe a seagull? No, it's actually a Breacher Primus. Isn't it adorable? Aww, good boy. Girl. Thing. Granna. She's a regular Melusine from Meruza village who wants to become a police officer, so she's preparing to take the exam. Iara. She likes to fish. She has a really short quest where we teach her about fishing by beating up an octopus. Something I don't like is that she calls Paimon Master Paimon, which just sounds so wrong. Don't give this annoying piece of shit so much respect. Kiara. She's the one who received the threat letter in Neuvillette's story quest. I find it really funny how she was just sleeping while standing right after being threatened.
Kiara?
Lame. She's studying to become a journalist and dreams of writing the Steambird one day. Leuca and Mela, just two Melusines chilling and talking to each other. Mela is from the city and Leuca is from Meruza village. Liath, she's a police officer who's enjoying the weather. If you talk to her, she'll give you a brief history of the Melusines. Lutine, she's the best cook in Meruza village. A meth cook. Just kidding. By talking to her, you learn something interesting. Food made by Melusines looks like something made by Raiden, but contrary to its appearance, it actually tastes really good. Mamere. This awkward little artist got herself into such an interesting adventure. I assume most people already know her, but in case you don't, just play the Melusine World Quest. I know you have to read because it's not voiced, but it's really good and it hints at some really interesting stuff. Mamere is the Melusine with the most amount of lore out of all of them. She even has her own card in the TCG. Menthe. She's the Melusine you make coffee for in a commission. She's actually not as happy as most of the Melusines seem to be. If you talk to her, she'll start complaining about how hard it actually is to live in Fontaine as a Melusine. Most things like clothes and furniture are made for humans, so she has to use things that are made for children or custom made, because she's quite short compared to humans. Oh, and she's British.
The tea here just keeps getting more bitter.
Muirne. She likes butter. She loves butter. She loves eating bread with butter. All she wants is some fucking butter. Also, if you talk to her, she'll tell you a funny little story. Nadia. She used to be a police officer, but she had to quit because she suffered brain damage, which caused her memory issues and her IQ dropped a bit. Now she's hanging around with Urwil, who's a really good friend of hers. He's trying his best to make enough money for Nadia's treatment, food and everything else. They are so wholesome together. He's trying his best to make her life easier, while she's trying her best to help him achieve his dream of joining the Fontaine fleet. Ottnit. She's a police officer who came to the fortress of Merope to hang out with her friend, Sigewinne. If you talk to her, she'll tell you that Melusines are punished the same way as humans are, which is kind of obvious, but it's nice to have some confirmation. Pahsiv. We don't actually know much about her. We don't even know if she's a Melusine. Her name definitely isn't hinting at anything. She has no idea about Meruza village or Fontaine, and she can barely communicate, which is pretty funny. Puca. She's one of the Melusines we saved in Meruza village. Her whole thing is that she likes rocks. Not gems, not metals, just rocks. She collects them because they are pretty. Rhemia. She's a police officer on vacation who is very meticulous. She's very observant and pays close attention to how humans behave. That's it. She looks pretty unique though. Rufina. She wants to be an adventurer just like us. That's it. Sadine. You can find her next to Nuvilet's office. She's kind of like his assistant or secretary. You definitely saw her before because she appears in quite a lot of quests. Fun fact, she's the one who appears in Nuvilet's trailer.
Monsieur Novelet, the next trial is about to begin.
Sadil. She's a police officer on vacation in Meruza village. From the way she looks and from her location, you would think she's really important. But, no. Saran. She's the closest thing Meruza village has to a chief or boss, because she's a bit older than everyone else. But she doesn't really act like a boss. She's more like a helpful big sister to everyone in the village. Sigewinne. She's the head nurse of the fortress of Merope and she's the only Melusine with human features. Ciora. We know nothing about her. If you go to her location, you can listen to her talk to someone from Liyue who confused her for an Adeptus, which is pretty funny. Sluazi. She's a Melusine from Meruza village who takes gems and turns them into all kinds of stuff, like accessories or paints for Mamere. Telochad. She used to be a tour guide for the Kalos line before it got destroyed. Now she's a police officer with an amazing quest line. In case you don't know her, I'll show you some of her lines. Firona. She's very close to Granna, the Melusine from the village who's preparing to take the exam to become a police officer. Firona plans to go with her even though she doesn't really want to, but she's really worried for Granna, so she'll go anyway. Topias. She's a musician in Meruza village. What instrument does she play? This one. It's her favorite. Also, Carabosse, the potion maker, sometimes uses her as a guinea pig to test her potions. But it's fine, these potions are completely safe, they don't have any kind of side effects. Right, Topias? Tristane. She is quest exclusive, so you can't find her in the open world, and she only appears one time. She appears in the Archon quest before Lini and Lynette's trial, just to tell us we can't leave the Opera Epiclese. Throw. She's a Melusine inside the Opera Epiclese who likes to be alone. Relatable. Vileda. She's a police officer patrolling in front of the Opera Epiclese while thinking about complex philosophical questions. She's wondering how humans came into existence. Were they created by a god? Were they the product of evolution? Were they born out of the flesh of a monster? Who knows? You definitely don't, because you're not from Teyvat. Verenata. She's another potion maker in the village and a student of Carabosse. They have completely opposite personalities. Vereneta is smart, humble, and kind, while Carabosse is a dumb, ignorant bitch. Virda. She's an apprentice police officer. Self-proclaimed apprentice. She really wants to be a police officer, but for now she's just pretending to be one. Zana. She's the one you buy stuff from. She likes shiny stuff. Anything that's shiny. Metals, crystals, Ayaka's forehead, and so on. She wants to build a huge mecha with all these shiny stuff. That's it. Let me know what you think about this video, because it's kind of a weird one. If this video does well, I might do something similar with those garbage demons. So, like, subscribe, and all that cool stuff. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.